Right, Major Mohammad Ali Shah with us on the broadcast. Sir, very good morning to you. Thank you for joining us this morning. And of course, you know, as expected, the United States of America also coming in and clarifying. We've seen a drastic change in what is expected in the days to come also as far as global politics and, you know, geopolitics, regional politics is concerned. We've seen the Japanese Prime Minister coming to visit India. A day later, the Australian PM holds a virtual meeting with India. And of course, the United States of America, after Joe Biden claiming that India has been shaky on Russia, is coming out and really clarifying today that India is still a partner of choice for the United States of America and is very, very critical to the Quad.
Absolutely, and India is certainly very, very critical to the Quad, and they must have realized it, they must have regretted it immediately after that. They must have tried to do some cover-up measures, because US, they have invaded so many countries, and they have, I will not say invaded, well, they have had military action in a lot of countries, in fact, and out of 193 countries recognized by UN, 84 countries have been have seen a military action by US. And in fact, in the year 2016, India and United States had signed the Logistics Exchange Memorandum of Agreement, and India was declared as a major defense partner of the United States. So he's right when he says that India is the firm partner of the US, not only in the Quad. And you know, one more thing, there are only 3 countries in the whole world where America hasn't invaded or has never seen a US military presence. And these 3 countries, only in the world, 3 countries. And these countries are Andorra, India's dear friend Bhutan, and Liechtenstein. Liechtenstein is on the border of Switzerland and Austria. It's very dependent on Switzerland for its economy, in fact. So US has actually destroyed Libya, Iraq, Afghanistan. They tried the same thing with Vietnam, with North Korea, with Cuba, with so many countries. And no one calls that as invasion or destroying them. No one has the guts. But right now, India is standing tall. And in fact, if you see a few months earlier, not even a year back, US had imposed sanctions on Turkey for purchasing the S-400 from Russia, and India also was under threat. But India said, let's take a risk and let's see what happens. India also purchased the S-400 from Russia, which was under risk of getting sanctions, but India went ahead with that deal. US had hinted that they would impose sanctions on India, but they could not on countering America's adversary act on that. Now also, US had imposed sanctions on India when the corona was on the peak and on the raw materials of exports of the corona vaccination. But the day we administered over 1 million vaccinations in one single day in India, US opened sanctions that day itself. Whether you call it coincidence or what, that's up to people's perception to see. But the fact is, US today needs India more than India needs US. And in fact, in China, if you see, US is trying to curb Chinese aggression, and India is a close neighbor with China, and it has shares a border of 3,488 kilometers stretch of the line of actual control.
Right.
India will play a very crucial role. During the Afghan-Russian war, that time US had trained a force inside Afghanistan, the Mujahids, so to say, the holy warriors. Osama bin Laden was a young Mujahid at that time who fought against Russians for the US. But in the year 2001, 11 September, he turned around, he attacked US and the Pentagon, the Twin Towers. So if you harbor snakes in your background, that's what happens. Now US, as I'm sure, they have felt a feeling of regret, because they really need India. And India today can stand tall on its own. We have moved towards Atmanirbhar Bharat, as towards self-dependence, being self-dependent. We do not need an external force, unlike Ukraine. Like, see, with all due respect, what did Ukraine do? Ukraine also was under threat, but Ukraine was relying on NATO. Today also, President Zelensky is scheduled to address the NATO through video conferencing. So Ukraine was more dependent on NATO, EU. They formed a triangle: Lithuania, Poland, and Ukraine. They were more dependent on international powers. India stood tall.
So, you know, before we move on, Major Mohammad Ali Shah, I want to address something quickly for the benefit of our viewers as well. When the US was asked recently about India's stand on Russia, they've also mentioned here, and I'm going to be quoting this, it's a question of history versus where we are now. India has, of course, had a historic defense and security relationship with Russia over time. that relationship came of age and came together at a time when the US or some of our partners were not prepared to have that kind of a relationship with India. That was a very different time and different considerations. But those times have changed in terms of our willingness and ability to become strong defense partners of India. And this is a bilateral relationship that has deepened over the past 25 years or so. I'm quoting the United States of America's spokesperson here. So, Major Mohammad Ali Shah, before we move on, one quick response from you. This is a major hint by the US as well as far as defense and military relationships are concerned, because there's a realization that we've been depending, on Russia all this while. But perhaps those sensibilities will also have to change going forward, given that Russia is already embroiled in a major war itself.
Very true, but then also India, the stand that India has taken right now is a very, very balanced, very mature, very prudent stand. And it's like stating the obvious. We all know that what Russia is doing today is wrong. Whole world knows it, because invading into a country is not justified. Attacking somebody is not justified. However badly provoked you could be, no one has the right to go ahead and take anyone's life, or to take the law in their hands, or to go and attack a country. Nobody gives anyone that right. So that is why even sympathizers of Russia, before 21st February, before they even announced the war, before they declared the war, or also, so to say, the military action as per the UNO Article 7.
Right.
So anyhow, when he declared the two states of Donbass areas, Donetsk and the two independent states, that time itself people started turning against Russia. They said, no, this is not fair. Everyone knew what he was doing, which was pending since 2014 after Russia attacked Crimea. That's a different thing. But no one actually really. But now India will actually also see its self-interest. Every country will see their self-interest first. Russia has been not an all-weather, but a all-fair-weather friend, not just a fair-weather, all-weather friend of India. In 1971, when India and Pakistan were at war, US had helped Pakistan. Russia had come to India's aid.
Yes.
In fact, Russia has been a friend of India for over 75 years, and we do not have a diplomatic ties with Russia only, or a political ties or military ties. We have an emotional bonding with Russia.
Yes.
And Bollywood films first sell there. If I give you an example, Bollywood films first sell there, then come here. And then also when Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated in the late 80s, that time the Russians were crying as hard as India, as Indians.
Right, absolutely.
And
of course, yes, the United States clearly also hinting that they would be willing to sort of replace Russia, but it's easier said than done.